Yes, sir. Third episode of the Pengu Podcast. We have none other than some young gunners, if you will, and actually we're mostly boomers here. Kind of. You're a semi-boomer, Hyper.
Semi-boomer, yeah, I'm getting there.
FoxA?
I mean, like, I feel like I'm pretty young, but like I've been around for a while, so I guess I'm technically a boomer in the term of the scene, yeah.
And then the youngest gunner in the room, and the most hair. Kyno?
No.
You think so?
No, you're a zoomer, 100%.
Are you 19, Kyno? Are you 19?
19.
Yeah, then you're not even 20 yet.
No,
you
you're
are a zoomer.
Yeah.
Also, we gotta clarify something. So you guys on the same side of, like, on the same couch.
Mm.
You guys don't hate each other? You guys are okay?
No, I'm okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
You're okay?
You sure you're okay?
I'm okay. I'm fine.
All right.
No, one of the worst things is like after Kyno and Yogg left, people would like message me, or like I'd see people talking on Twitter and they're like, well, Kyno and Yogg spent the most time with Fox, so maybe they just don't like that guy.
Oh.
I would just be like, wow, maybe they don't.
That's the reason why I left.
Yeah, it could be.
Pointing more? Sorry. I got you.
But I know firsthand that, Kyno loves me, so it's all right.
Good.
I don't hate him.
Often when people, they split apart or you make a roster change, people, as you said, Fox, kind of be like, oh, they hate each other. Something went wrong, whichever. And one of my favorite, or my least liked parts about making a roster change is people are going to assume things. And there's going to be two different stories. And it's not often that people get to fully clarify the situation. But you guys both kind of benefit from the change because both OXG and XSET are top 4. So
yeah.
I guess it's all right for both people.
Exactly. It is. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I feel like a lot of people have a difficult time in understanding that, like, yeah, we play games, but it's like kind of like a business, replacing people, dropping people. At the end of the day, it's all for like being better in your eyes. So with Kyno and Yogg wanting to make a decision like that, it's kind of like up to them. I'm not going to stop them. If it goes bad, I'm going to laugh at them. But if it goes good, then, best of luck. I hope it works out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you agree, Kyno?
I agree. I think, honestly, that change was good for both teams. I think we kind of needed that. Like, OXG was saturated. It was, I don't know how to explain. It was just
a big word. That's a big word.
It was too much for me. I don't know.
Saturated.
Breath of fresh air. I don't know. I think it helped both teams, though. I think OXG is better now with the two new pickups, and I think XSET is a decent team.
A decent team?
Yeah.
Bold words. Hyper, as a neutral man in the room, if you had to pick between OXG and XSET, who do you think came out the better team? Just looking at the very few best of one stage 1 situation right now.
That's a tough question.
I think it's tough, but I'm gonna have to go with OXG. I think even before the stage, like, we scrimmed you guys, and I was like, okay, OXG's like. Because, I mean, I'll be honest, like, usually when you guys pick people up, you guys have like a little honeymoon phase for a little bit. Yeah. But like, I scrimmed you guys and I was immediately like, okay, OXG's going to have like a really good stage. So, I mean, I think OXG right now, but I mean, XSET's fucking really good too. So,
yeah.
No, we're definitely a hard question.
There you go.
I was going to say, like, we usually do. I mean, when we picked up Kyno and Yogg, we got first stage 1. So, like, I guess to us, we're like, we know we can do well, but we have a lot better people and better the specific roles that we needed them for, and it's less like forcing, so it feels more natural. But yeah, I would say like XSET, like if you're looking both of our teams, like how fast XSET is succeeding with what they're doing, like you definitely got to give them credit for that too. We're like a longer team, like me, Lax, and Vert. Like I feel like we'll always kind of be in that top 4 realm, no matter who we pick up, even if we picked up 2 trash cans. But like, thankfully, we got like 2 really good players, so we're able to like use it to our full potential,
That's true. I mean, we saw XSET week 1, and I was thinking, maybe in 6 months they'll be a good team because they look kind of shaky. We also did play like SSG and whatnot, which is like a difficult opponent. But then it's like already week 2 and week 3 or play day, 3 and play day 4, you guys look way better. And I believe most of you guys have played together before in the past. So like you guys have that friend synergy, if you will. And that's something that Supr mentioned on his podcast with you, where it's like, did you choose the friend group over the like business version of the esports world? Because, you are friends with most of XSET. Whereas in OXG, it was more like, sure, you live with Fox, but more like a business thing, right?
Yeah. Go for it.
I think it's interesting to see like long term when you guys like start facing like actual like losing to see how you guys will work, since you guys are like literally all friends. That'll be the interesting part of the team.
I agree.
Because right now everything's good because you guys are winning.
I agree.
Why are you smiling?
Well, because on our team we were kind of unstoppable, and then we went to Invite. We were 2-0 in Empire. We were doing great, and then we played MIBR.
Okay.
And that's when we locked up. And it was like, after that, we lost. And then we had a terrible stage 2. And we could never beat MIBR. So it was like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's because like some players on the team like looked up to some of those guys. I don't know.
The sheiks.
Yeah.
Don't say that. We played 3 games and we won 1 map against them. It was 2 best of 3s and 1 best of 1.
Yeah.
A single map we won.
I mean, hey, they're a good team. You guys are kind of like a mini MIBR now. So,
You think
right?
so?
Well, isn't that what like Bodega
Yeah.
is like trying to do? Is like make you guys
kind of, yeah, I guess so.
NA MIBR?
We're like everything, you know. We're a bit of U, a bit of NA, a TEM, a bit of APEC too. We're like a big deal now.
Bit of everything, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are making fans though, because people like watching XSET now because it's kind of ridiculous what happens sometimes. You guys can play fast, you guys can play slow. Obviously, you got new names, you're unproven, and you've performed well so far.
Yeah, it's kind of like a spectacle, like, and what everyone wants to watch to see if like Bodega blows up. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of storylines in the right now. You know, we got the drip evil villain. We got, of course, the fall of Sonics and Supr, the evil villain before that. We got, you know, can DC stay out of OT? Because so far, last I checked, the only 2 OT games we've had so far has been DC games. At least before the playdays that we just had. I don't remember the scores there. And you got newers. You got a very, very unproven player that came from basically ranked into pro player. He could play if Pill is basically glorified ranked, right? So speaking of crack gunners turning 18 and getting picked up, we had European crack gunner turn 18 recently. Any guesses?
Spoit.
Yeah, Spoit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like William.
Yeah.
Yeah, William, yep. And any thoughts? Because like that's like a newer situation for me that I see. Sure, like he's played Nordic League before when he was 16. He's played FPL now. He joined FPL the day he turned 18, top franked his first game, and that's just Spoit. Is that going to be a newer situation?
I think Spoit's a really mechanically gifted player, and obviously like he definitely knows what to do in like intense situations. I feel like young players like that, if put on the right team, like can go insane and become one of the top players in like the world. My only worry is I feel like EU's kind of limited with the language barrier. So even the good teams, you know, it's hard to like just pick someone up who speaks English. I don't know if any other languages that he speaks.
Swedish.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any like Swedish teams that maybe he could join that. But my worry is that he won't be able to get on a top team that can make him flourish like a really well player. And he'll still be good, but he'll kind of just be always limited to his situation. I mean, I was honestly saying like, you know, a player like that should just like come to NA.
I was going to say, is that like a welcome to North America? Yeah. Maybe OXG wants to get a newers to win 0 at some point, replace somebody else. I don't know.
So we just get it. I'm probably next to go, you know. I'm the old guy, 22.
You're lax at least.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have a lot of experience picking up new gunners in DarkZero. Do you agree with that same sentiment that if you have like the right, you know, the boomers or a really good coach?
No, you definitely need like a good like boomer to new player ratio. Like you like no matter how nasty you are as a young player, like you need experience behind you to teach you like how to play and like what to do. And I don't know, it's like eye opening. Like once you're a young player, like even on a bottom team and you like join a real team that's like top 4 consistently, like I don't know, it's like there's just a certain thing you have to do and like start putting in like a certain amount of time into the game, work ethic, etc. But
there's like a lot of like teams in EU, at least the lower teams, that like what I've noticed is they don't even, well, I mean, I've never played against all the EU teams, but at least from like scrimming them and having that opportunity, it seems like a lot of them don't necessarily have that basic like fundamentals of like trading, like always like trying to like, you know, have crossfire, stuff like that. For example, like one thing I always bring up is like before Doki left to Navi, like Navi was a top 4 team. It was dead ass Doki single roaming, doing his own thing. It's like if you just focus him, like the rest of the team is leaving him up there like shark bait. So I feel like, yeah, if you're Spoit, you probably want to get on the best team possible. And I think it's really hard to do that in EU in general, unless you speak the specific language of a team that's a top team. So
we also spoke briefly before this started actually about year 7 for Siege looking there, because you, Fox, yourself, they said like, yeah, year 7 looks pretty good, and there's a lot of potential for like coming back with viewership and numbers and player base and new operator changing and stuff. If someone like Spoit just turned 18 and he's also good at Valorant or the games, is it like, should he just like full send Siege, or is it like, do you feel the waters? Like, what do you do if you have options? Because most players don't have options.
That's a great question. I think like, especially when you're young, you don't necessarily need to limit yourself. You know, when I first started playing like just competitive games, I was playing CS, and then 2 years later, I was like, oh, like the Siege trailer came out. I'm like, I might as well try Siege, and it just took off from there. I think with Spoit is he's mainly around Siege. I know he's played some Valorant too, but when you spend that much time on a game, it's like fairly easy. Like I feel like you can never not be good at that game. So obviously, I think going pro in like a game like Valorant is beneficial if you're like one of those top players. You're going to get paid so much. But if you're not, I mean, you mainly just want to, I guess, eventually go pro in the game that you've been playing. So look at Bolo, you know, like no matter how many followers he had, like people were like, oh, is he going to go pro? Is he not? Like he has his stream, his YouTube. Like, why would he go pro? But like as a kid growing up, the whole time you're thinking like, you know, I want to play on stage. I want to win. I want to do this for like Siege. So I don't know. I'd imagine he'd probably try to like accomplish that.
I think the big thing is like just having connections in the scene. Like he already has the connections in Siege. Like unless he's like super nasty at Valorant and like knows people already, I think probably just focus Siege, to be honest. But I mean, if he's really good at Val, then I don't see an issue with pursuing both.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think like if he switches to Val, it's like high risk, high reward, but I don't think it's worth. He pretty much has a career ahead of him in Siege. So like risking his career, content career, and pro career for a game that he doesn't know if he's going to perform or not. I don't know. I don't think it's worth the risk.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to do that
because he plays comp in Siege too, right? Like he actually plays comp, right?
I played a tournament with him when he was in the NA, and he's actually pretty good. Like comms, like team play wise.
Was Eclipse on your team too?
What?
Was Eclipse on your team too? I'm pretty sure Tyler played
the first blood tournament with King George, I think, right? You guys played or something like that? Or was it a different?
No, it was just a different tournament. He was in Mexico.
Yeah, he was in content.
Yeah, and then we played just a T3 tournament, and he's actually pretty good. Like comms wise, team play, his mechanical skill is just absurd. Like it's unreal.
I saw his FPL stream in 2018 because he was playing with the LMAO 52. Because Spoit wasn't streaming it. I guess he was just going in fully focused on like actually performing. And the entire first 4 rounds is people saying, "Oh, Spoit, you're crazy," because we like going to get a 3 here or whatever. And sure enough, he ended up being a top gunner. You know, abusing Finger LMD of all things, but he was saying making good call out saying, "Oh guys, let's do a solar take because like we're all spawned here. Like there's no point to run all the way around to like library now and stuff on Chalet." So he seems to have a pretty good grasp of the game, despite not having played a ton of tournaments before.
Yeah. No, he seems pretty nasty, and like his individual mechanical skill is so good. So hopefully he's able to join a team that brings that kind of like, you know, well-roundedness and team play. Just, you know, you can't just 1v5 every team. So hopefully he gets like on a good team to be able to expose that potential.
Okay.
I've heard like people, I don't know if they talk about it the same, but like Blaz, like apparently he was on like heroic and he was like getting like 16 kills.
Like a Loki Navi situation.
Yeah, exactly. Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So you know, obviously he's gonna come to NA eventually, and I've been hearing so much about him, but like I honestly haven't seen him play. I haven't like I'm people are just like, this guy's crazy, one of the craziest players I've ever seen. It's like, really, like how crazy is he if he's not on like a top team in EU? You know what I'm saying? But he could be.
The crazy thing in Europe is that Blaz doesn't speak English that well, to my understanding. That's why most European teams, like he could only play with French teams. But now he's going to North America to play with Parabellum. So I guess
just speak French.
Just speak French.
Are they speaking French?
That's what they've said. Yeah.
Are they speaking French?
They've said that, but I still don't know if it's true.
I think they're joking.
I think they're joking as well.
They have to be. Because like
I don't know.
Penguin doesn't know French. Like
Kool-Aid as well. Does Kool-Aid know French?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, I think because they had like before they made the changes, it was like the 3 like French Canadians, like 2 of them at least, but like they're gone. So I don't think they really speak French anymore.
I think Esqua and Penguin speak French.
They're gonna dry run at 4 and then Duolingo at 5.
It's fine. They're coming on next. So we gotta clarify the situation.
That's what Esqua was telling me is they actually take like French classes to get Blaz ready.
Maybe
to get ready for Blaz.
That'd be crazy if they did.
But I feel like that'd be so like counterproductive. Like obviously if you're just learning like specific call outs, like you can just translate the word and say the word, but some of the small things that I feel like teams say all the time, like, oh, like double up on me, get my trade, like, oh, let's like trying to explain something in French, like I feel like you just be kind of like stuck, you know?
Yeah.
So
then speaking of going to America, Should he go to a team like TSM? Could they use some new blood? Because there's a slump happening right now over there in that boot camp. What's happening?
I mean, it happened last year as well.
TSM is never looked amazing in NAL, like domestically.
Yeah.
But for invite, they get top 4 every time.
It's kind of like FaZe and NIP domestically, I think. Like, especially NIP. Like, you look at NIP internationally, and they're usually pretty good. Like, recently they've struggled a little bit, but like, you look at them domestically, and like, there's some like seasons they just get smoked.
Yeah. No, I don't think anything is wrong with TSM. I feel like when the way that they were practicing, like at least what Merc told me is like for invite, no days off, doubles every single day, like even doubles and dry runs. I think like you do all that work, you win invite, you're probably not like in the mindset to like do the same type of grind for like at least like, you know, a couple months. Like you probably like, all right, like we just won. Who cares about the NAL? Who cares about this next major? Like we just literally won the biggest event of the world. So I think it's more of like a internal battle off of who really wants to keep winning on that team. And like, I'm sure everyone wants to keep winning, but yeah, I think they just want time to like relax, take a break from all that practicing that they were doing, and then maybe get back into it next stage. Or I don't think it's anyone like they just won the major, you know, there's no like, they're not doing anything wrong. No player turned bad in like a month. It's literally just, you know, do they want the NAL stage as bad as they wanted to invite? Probably not. There's also a bunch of new maps. Every team made changes. Yeah. I feel like it's just tough for them right now, especially since everyone kind of knows what they do because they just won in.
Everyone wants to beat TSM, right?
Exactly.
They're the team to beat right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, burnout's a real thing because if you win or go far in a tournament, you get less time off. While you also have to work more or work longer because let's say XSET goes out in group stage, TSM wins the entire tournament. XSET gets to go home, chill, watch it, maybe scrim. TSM has to keep prepping for the next game, studying the next opponent, playing the next best of 3, maybe best of 5 grand finals. The curse of winning is you get less time off. Every time.
Absolutely.
And then if you win, your org's like, yo, let's make some content, right? Yo, winning merch, you know, winning podcast, videos, whichever. And then before you know it, NAL season starts, you get 3 new maps, attacker, repick. Everybody has to make crazy roster changes. You can't predict who's going to play well. And then you lose to Mirage. And then it's looking kind of rough.
A good example of that is W7M in Brazil.
Yeah.
They, right after stage 3, because they didn't qualify to any events, they picked up 2 new players like right away, and they had like 3 months of practice with the new team. And look at them now; they're not losing.
Yeah, where are they now?
Yeah,
very top.
Are they 7-0 or 6-0?
Like I don't know.
I think they've won once in OT and once and every single thing in regulation. So it's like 6-1, but it's overtime because they beat. I think it was Furia. They went like 8-7 against or something like that. But they've won against like FaZe, Liquid, and
oh yeah, they beat every single team. It's actually so impressive.
Yep.
That's like, for example, like, you know, XSET. It's like XSET, you know, being last place, about to be relegated, and then now you guys are in, is it 3rd place? Yeah. Pretty good.
3rd place.
The Brazilian power. Yep. Something crazy in that.
People didn't believe it though, right? Like when people said like, but Bodega, I mean, Bodega made it hard for people to like buy into it originally because like him and Supr going back and forth on Twitter. But now it's like, okay, sure, people made fun of X in the beginning, but now it looks to be a legit deal, at least for stage 1. And then we'll see how far you guys can go. But you guys have proven a lot of people wrong and proven that sometimes taking like a weird choice or weird decision is actually worth it.
Yep. It's too funny. Like all that stuff you were talking about with Bodega and Supr, or like Bodega and anybody online. Yeah. Like afterwards, like Kyno was telling me, he was like, yeah, Bodega, like he thought everyone was joking. Like he thought like the shit talk was like troll, and he was kept going along with it. He didn't actually think like people were gonna dislike him because of it. And it's like, it was just like funny. It kind of felt bad. I was like, damn, like this guy thought everyone was being friendly, but they're actually they're actually mad. They're actually like, bro, this guy's an NA, but he's a nice guy. I feel like he knows how to play the game. He knows how to like troll and like, you know, he does his job.
I wasn't a big fan of him yelling behind us, at least like the first 2 games.
You weren't a fan?
I weren't a big fan. Yeah, I thought it was like distracting us or whatever. But like, I like the energy now. I embraced it. I think it's funny.
I've noticed when you were on our team, whenever teams would yell at us, you would get nervous or like you'd like kind of like shut down. But now with like Bodega kind of yelling behind you, it like encourages you.
Yeah,
So you're the big brother defending you. You know what I mean? Like if he yells, and like, okay, I can yell as well. Like it's like I can feel good about this situation.
Yep. And I've been yelling a lot too. I don't know where that came from. I was always like the quiet one, but now I've been yelling a lot.
Do you guys like crowds for like the weekly games for NAL? Because like right now, I think it's pretty dead out there, right? Like you see like you guys playing and like staff. Would it be cool with like, I don't know, 50, 100 people every week just like sitting there watching the games?
Yeah, not in 100%. That. It would be cool, but I don't think in that venue. Like I think they probably need to get a better venue. But
yeah,
I think it'd be cool, I guess.
That's not a bad comment. I'd say like if you look at like League, like they always have like just like a small, I don't know, if like 500 people.
Yeah, like the in-house studio thing, yeah.
Some days, some games you'll have like people come in, sometimes you don't. I feel like that's like nice though. Like if you're like in Vegas, you're visiting, like you get to see it a little more intimate of an event. Especially some of the NA games are like so like our last play day is probably going to determine like everybody going to the major. So anybody would want to watch that, you know?
The last 3 play days in particular for the top 5 teams. So OXG, Astralis, XSET, DarkZero, and SSG. You guys basically all play each other. And I got the standings on my phone just so I'm not gonna spew lies. But essentially, the situation right now is first place OXG, 14 points. Second place Astralis, 14 points. You guys have a 1-round differential between first and second place, plus 17, plus 16. Third place is XSET on 12 points, plus 14. And you have DarkZero tied on points, but less scorative, also on 12 points. And you have SSG on 11 points, Beast Coast on 10 points. In other words, the race to top 4 is very real and literally OXG could not make it, maybe.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Exactly.
And maybe Beast Coast will make it, even though they're only on, they're on 10 points, but they're 4 points behind you guys right now.
I'm pretty sure us and Astralis only need 1 point, and then we're solidified. But like, you know, it's anything could happen. You know, you could lose and just don't get a single point, and then every other team can pass up. I think it's like the most difficult. I think the storyline that's going to be the most crazy is DZ, because like you guys play XSET, then us, then SSG. Yep. So you guys have your like arguably the hardest games coming up now.
I mean, I think every game we play from here on out is literally for LAN. Like if we lose one, like I don't know, it might be tough, but.
Yep. But the spot you guys have been in before, Hyper, is that in the past, there's been instances where you're relying on other games going a certain way for you guys to qualify. So this time, it's literally all in your hands, for the moment at least.
In this format, that's the thing. That's the only thing you can really do is just make sure like your fate is in your own hands. Yeah. Because if you like lose like 1 or 2 games, I mean, that might be too much. And then that's like, I don't know, you kind of need some people to lose and like other people to win. But I think right now we're in a decent spot. We just need to win out.
Yeah.
Is everyone's goal here? Because obviously DarkZero, you guys are in a bit of a different spot because you did not make a roster changes. But for XSET and OXG, did everyone in this room go into NAL Stage 1 with the expectation to go top 4, aka make the major? Or are one of you guys here like, oh, we got roster changes, we know top 5 is fine for us? Or you, Hyper, are you like, we have to make the majors? Like, is that like the bare minimum expectations for us so far? Or
I mean, I think our expectation is to make the major. I think one thing people don't really take into account is like, I mean, you can look at the last year, like the first season of every year is kind of like, it's kind of a little of a toss up because like, I mean, what was the first season? Like Mirage was in top 4.
We were first, I'm pretty sure.
It was like
DG was in there.
There was like it was a ridiculous top 4, and then like especially now with all the changes, like it's just like really like it puts everyone on an even playing field. So I think over the next like 2 seasons, like TSM will come up. I think
Sonics maybe.
Sonics maybe, yeah. But I mean, it's just super close.
I think for us mainly, I feel like a lot of teams have that mentality where it's like you make a roster change, it's like, oh, it'll take time to get to work. And it's like, it does in like certain aspects, but usually in the first couple of weeks, you'll understand if the team is like able to compete at a certain level. For us, like I said, with our core 3 of like Laxmi and Vert, no matter what, we always think that we could be top 4. And then off of scrims, obviously it's just scrims, but we knew that we could definitely be top 4, if not like even better. So to us, we want to be first, obviously, but at the end of the day, like off of points, like there's no real benefit necessarily to getting first because it's all the same amount of points until you go to the major. So we just want to obviously win all of our games, play as best as we can, and then go to the major and like perform as best as we can there. So as long as we can like solidify top 4, we'll be content. But obviously everyone wants to win. So we'll see how it goes.
I've been saying everywhere that like our expectations weren't that high, and like we were a long-term team. But like inside, all of us, like we won top 4. That was our goal. First stage, make the major, see how it goes from there.
Get some experience.
But,
yeah. It's valuable to get experience if you haven't played LAN before. I mean, think about Newers. How is he gonna do? He's gonna have the crazy shakes. Some players are like super OCD with their setup. We saw here's Eminem doing invite. They had like a photo. They had like I don't know his Tyrant or which player it was, but like he had like measurements, and he literally had like a measuring tool. He was like, monitor from table, like 12 inches. So table to bottom of a chair, 25. Like he literally whipped it out, and he was like measuring stuff.
I think there's a StarCraft player that does the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's like quote unquote common, but like some people take it to the extreme.
Yeah,
I know Doki, he tapes his setup. So the mouse mat is always like in that same position, the monitor, same style. And he'll take a photo and once again, like measure it up. And then when he gets to LAN, he'll try and like simulate that exact same situation. I
think that's one challenge that New is like getting used to is the LAN environment, like having to set up. Like already I've heard him say like, like the desks are kind of different than what he's used to. He plays like, his arms like this, but at LAN he has to play a little differently. And obviously I don't think there's any way to prepare to play for a crowd. I feel like the last 2 years of like COVID, when you're not playing with the crowd, it's maybe a little easier because you don't have, the people behind you. Some teams like know how to use the crowd. Like I'm sure like when you're playing a game, you know how to abuse the crowd and the cheering and stuff. And I think that's going to be, I think this next event's actually going to be insane, especially because of all the Siege people that have been limited to go into events. Everybody's going to be crazy. Everyone's going to be hyped to be there. So I couldn't tell you like how some players will perform. I think like players like Newers that like are very confident in themselves, it'll probably like feed into their confidence and it'll do better. But other players that maybe are a little shy, it's their first time, it might affect them in a negative way. So
have you thought about that, Hyper, like Pan stuff? Have you thought about how
that's true?
Yeah.
Panda hasn't played with
NGR hasn't either, right? Has he?
Well, no, I don't think NJ hasn't, and Pamba definitely hasn't. Yeah. But that's they're both like pretty shy people, so I think it's hard to say like how they'll play for the first time at LAN. But I think like internally they're pretty like confident in themselves. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say how Pamba will do in front of a crowd. It's just like experience. Like you'll get over it over time. I think like the first time anyone plays in front of a crowd, they're going to be a little nervous.
Yeah,
it's just like a completely different atmosphere, and then like couple times in, I think you're just like focused on the game. The big thing for me was like my first like 10 minutes in front of the crowd, like when I was playing, made me like super nervous. And then like once I was in the game, I was just like focused and like I kind of zoned it out.
Yeah, my first LAN, kind of did bad. Got 2 kills, played against Prime Penta, and then my team dropped me.
Was that your first LAN?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was my first LAN ever. We played against you guys.
Where was it?
Dropped 2 kills in Cologne.
Yeah.
Cologne.
Gamescom.
Yeah. Gamescom.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was your first LAN, actually. Like, is that first LAN ever or first international LAN?
First Siege International. Well, yeah, first Siege LAN.
Oh, Jesus.
I went to like CSGO LANs, but like they were like local, like nothing like too crazy. So that was my first, like I flew somewhere to go play and I got bodied. So
I remember that we played Clubhouse against you guys, and we hadn't played Club in forever, and we made this strat in like the bathroom, at the staff bathroom right before the game, and where we're like, what if we whole kitchen, hallway, and basement roam defense vertically with casa barricades and stuff? And we're like, yeah, that's gonna be crazy. And then we did it, and I think it was like a 5-1 or 5-2, however many rounds we played back then, and it worked. I guess I don't know.
No, when you have a good team like that, you can honestly just spit out anything, and like if you just play together off of like your team chemistry, like it'll work. That's always been like our like motto on our team is like we never want it to be like too like strategy heavy, where it's like if something goes wrong or one person dies, it's over. Like as long as you're able to like adapt and like work together, any situation's winnable. So
I agree. So question regarding NAO. We spoke about qualifying for the major, top 4 race. how stage 1 is always a bit shaky or weird. Is playing a single best of 1 round robin style for every stage enough to prove who's the best? Or do you guys think you should play more games against each team? Or is it best of 3s that are like more required? What do you think it takes?
I think I'm not a big fan of the format. I think it's good for viewers because like if I'm a fan of like the lower tier teams like playing like one of the like for example like OXG, like if I was a Mirage fan playing OXG, like I would want them to play a BO1. Like anything can happen. But my personal favorite like compromise season was the online season where you would play all the teams once, BO1, and then you'd play them again in reverse order. I think that's a little bit
I like better. That. I've always been like a fan of like, you know, obviously I don't know how it would work in the system, but yeah, you play a team once and then like you play a team a second time. Like we'll obviously play every team 3 times in the year, like just throughout the stage. But like it would be maybe better or like more competitive if it was like best of 1s, but you played it twice, for example, like you just said. Or like best of 2s. I've never thought best of 2s were bad. We did it back in like year 1, back when like, you know, old Chalet, old Oregon, like, and I kind of like that system where it was like, if you won both maps, you get 3 points. If you won a map each, it was like, I think 1 point each. And then if you lost, you lost.
It just doesn't make sense for me that they would move everyone out to Vegas just to play like, I don't know, a couple BO1s every couple months.
I think like it'll probably get better over time. I feel like a big thing is like the studio, like the HyperX Arena. It's probably hard because that place, like they probably make all their money off of like birthdays and like having other stuff too. So it's hard to, I guess, maybe book a majority amount of the days throughout a week for like the NAL and just time zones. And the arena probably doesn't want to do it. But I've always said like, even without just the format, what if they change it from Tuesday, Wednesday to like Tuesday, Thursday, or like Monday, Wednesday? You have a day in between the matches. And like, even then, like, I think because of the HyperX Arena, it might be limited to doing that. But I think what you suggested, you play everyone twice, that would be better. I think best of 3s would be a little too like overkill for like single, you know, if just one match, we play a best of 3 against every single team in the league for the season. I feel like that's a little too much.
Yeah, there's definitely too much with this many teams.
What do you think, Kyno?
I don't think BO1's proved like who's the better team.
So what you're saying is that X is actually not a good team?
Nah, XSET
Mickey Mouse.
XSET so bad. Like look at TSM. Look what happened to them. Like last year and now this stage as well. They just can't really perform in best of 1s. Like
I will say this season, not so much about last season. I will say this season, if it was BO3, I think TSM still will be struggling.
Okay, sure.
I don't think the issue's maybe that for them, but I think the past seasons, I think if it was BO3, definitely their records would definitely be higher.
I do agree. A lot of teams, or some teams, can't cope with the pressure of the best of 1s. I think I remember seeing Gotcha say on Twitter where it was like, oh, well, like we're a best of 3 team and like because we can make plays because there's more maps and we know that we're not going to like screw up the whole game if you lose one round trying to make a play. And I can understand that. I wish there was a statistic to show. I mean, I'm going to use TSM as an example. I wish there was a statistic to show how many first maps they won at LAN. Because like if they just won the first map at LAN, like then like is it really that much of a change? Like is it really that detrimental? Like for me, I feel like as a player, just the longer a map goes on, if it goes into OT, the better I get. Because like, you know, I play like a rat. So the longer it gets, the nerves get in. You can get away with a lot more stuff the longer the game gets on. So I feel like a team like TSM that is very good at making plays, they have amazing individual players. I feel like best of 1s put pressure on a lot of other teams. I feel like they would thrive in a situation like that, you know?
I also think like the thing about BO1s is like the newer teams, it's like, for example, like Astralis, Beast Coast, like we'd never played them once, like scrimming because we played them early.
Yeah.
It's so hard to play a team you've never played before with a different play style and only have like one map to like gauge it by. Because like if it's a BO3, like you play one map, you lose, and you're like, okay, these guys play like this. Let's start playing like this now.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
That's a great point. Because they're sitting there watching you play your games and then like they come in and whole different team, whole different play style. It's hard to counter that quickly.
Yeah.
I get it.
What if you increase the round count for best of 1s? And we don't have to like get complicated and talk about, what about ranked and casual and like what if you increase the round count? Because like, CSGO Valorant, you play like 13 in Valorant and like first to 50, 16 in CSGO. What if you had more rounds on one map in Siege? First to 10, I don't know.
I wouldn't be something I'd be opposed to be honest. I think I'd be good.
I'd be down for that.
I've thought about that. Like, yeah, what if they made that longer? And then like, what if they made like best of 5 shorter or something like that? And it's not a bad idea. I feel like it might get confusing to like the casual viewer. I feel like the only issue that you might get is like on some maps, for example, even if you go to OT, like Oregon, let's say like you're going to see basement played 8 times. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to be bored. Like, let's do something else. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if there would be like a different type of like site parameter lock, or maybe you have to go to all 4 sites. I heard someone on I think it was on the Reddit say something about that. Like, what if we played Siege where it was like you had to go to all 4 bomb sites and then like it swapped. Yeah. So it's like you really see like who's like the better team on sites that aren't even necessarily like good defender sided sites.
Yeah, I'm actually not against it. I think there's room to try it, but as you guys also said, it's like, where do you try it? When do you try it? And how crazy do you get? Because like a casual viewer will tune in, but like, oh, first to 7. Oh wait, no, it's first to 8, 10. Like how long are you guys going for? Because sometimes when you play on stream, you play like FPL or whatever, and people are like, wait, you guys are up 5-0. Like, how long are you guys playing for? It's like they don't understand, but they don't know it the same way that we do. So.
I mean, I genuinely think we have like a good system right now with best of ones. I think obviously best bet is we play more. You know what I'm saying? As long as we get more games, we're all in Vegas. We're all here for a reason. If we can get more games, I think no one's going to be upset at that. Now, extending it, I mean, we've all been in that situation where like you go to double OT and like you feel like the game's gone on for like an hour and a half, but at the same time, you're right. You could just 7-0 the team or 7-1 a team. And it's like, all right, it's done in like 30 minutes. So I don't know. I feel like it's like a good balance right now.
Okay.
How long did your game versus Empire go on Coastline?
23 minutes, I think. Almost an hour and a half straight.
What was the score?
It was 22 rounds. So it's like 12-10, I guess, or whatever. Something like that.
Yeah.
The thing about our game is that, like, I think Coastline took half the entire best of, like, the grand finals, basically. Yeah. It was like a 7-2, 7-2 after or something like that. That game felt... I guess the game against Empire kind of gave me the vibes of, like, playing first to, like, first of 10 in the best of 1, for example, where it's like, we went through every side so many times, we tried so many defensive attacks, or defenses, so many different attacks as well, and it was almost like playing CSGO Valorant, where it was like, you're kind of just going through the motions and see what happens, because you don't have that big of a strat book to keep bringing out new stuff. You really don't. That was a crazy one, yeah.
That was an amazing game to watch. I feel like in a game like that, you use all your gas in that first match. Yeah. Whoever wins the event pretty much.
I mean, that's how we literally said that in the comms. We're like, guys, win Coastline, it's over. Like, it's so free. Like, everyone's gonna burn too much gas in this one game. And I think you're right. That's what happened, Yeah,
and you guys
the first map. And like, yeah, we can't bring it back to the 4th or 5th map. It's over.
Yeah,
there's no way.
No, that's true. Like the mental fatigue. Like I've seen like teams like you go to like double OT map 1 and you lose, and then like the team's just like, all right, I don't want to like play anymore. Like,
that's like, kind of what I loved about 2018 Invite is that, and because I've seen there's been a couple of content pieces from like the EG comms and the Penta comms. It didn't seem like either team was done, because when map 5 starts, you see both teams kind of communicate in their circle, and it's like Troy's saying that they're shit in their pants, and then we're saying like, no, they're shit in their pants. Like, we both think the same of each other. We went all 5 games. We had OTs, we had clutches back and forth. Neither team was like mentally checked out. And then you look at like Paris Major or the Empire game at Invitationals, and after a map or two, it seems like one team kind of gave out or checked out. So some teams can handle it long term, but I think only the very experienced teams can perhaps like kind of handle that.
Yeah.
I think it's big on the leader to like make sure after like a loss like that, you make sure your players aren't thinking like, wow, we just played all that just for nothing.
For nothing, yeah.
And then like we just lost the map that just took an hour, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
But,
being a leader, like a IGL and like a leader, it's difficult because like you're right. I feel like on our last team with Kyno and Yog, it was not only do you have to like IGL, make sure like you're doing everything for your team, make sure you're paying attention to everything on the other team, playing your own game, but you also have to like try to like kind of keep your team in good spirits and like keep your team hyped, and like it gets very like draining to be able to like do all of that. So I think it's good when a team has kind of like that one goofball, or like, you know, someone who's just able to kind of like troll and like get everyone in the right headspace.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just put it all on one person to necessarily like kind of do all the tasks and do all the jobs like that. So
like Yogg.
Yeah. Nah, Yogg's like Yogg's a different breed, but on our team it was like with Kyno and Yogg, is like when it was going good, everyone's having a good time, everyone's laughing. But when it was going bad, it was like no one was talking, no one was having a good time. So
I think
it's
that's
like,
common.
Yeah,
way too common. I mean, I watch Mirage a lot when casting an AL or coach streaming an AL, and I always see Tomas during technical timeouts or like even technical difficulties. He'll just be like laughing, and it looks like he's just cracking jokes left and right. Having a yes man is what I call it, is very important. And if Fabian was our yes man and Fabian was our no man, because when things were going well, Fabian's like, let's go guys, good job, perfect round. I was watching back some old T2 voice comms videos from back in the day with my chat, and there's this round on Border from like 2.5 years ago where the round is like, we played terrible, but Fabian comes into a 1v1 and Fabian wins the 1v1, and he goes, perfect round guys, do that again next round. And it's like, that was like the most disgustingly like bad round ever, but you won the round, so it's fine. But had he lost that 1v1, Fabian would have like lost his shit and been like, guys, how the F can you let this happen? Like, how are we this bad?
Yeah.
So having multiple IGLs, you know, sharing that pressure, or just having a yes man who's not also your IGL is probably pretty beneficial.
Yeah. No, my team says that I do all the time. It's like, we'll be playing and like someone will like, I don't know, get like through a wall bang, and I'm literally like, dude, like, can you just do the, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
Oh, okay. I'm like, dude, can you just do the fucking strat and stay alive, please? And then like the 3 rounds later, I'm doing some stupid shit under a hatch and I die, and I'm just like, all right guys, my bad. And then like they're all just like, bro, if I died, you would have flamed me, but you died, it's all good. But it's good to have for example, like our like yes man now is probably like Mitch, like that guy's always hyped, like, you know, Dream Clap, he's just too funny, he's like always in a good mood. And then honestly, like Newers has been, you wouldn't think from like seeing it, but like he is like very positive, and like let's say like if people are quiet or like our vibes are down, like he'll just like say some like stupid shit, like he'll just look over at like someone and like grab them and shake him, and he's like, I'm too good. Like he just like does some stupid shit and you just laugh and you're like, oh, that's like, this guy's just like so funny.
I definitely do that on my team too. Like Pamba in scrims, he gets wall banged like the most I've ever seen any player get wall banged, and every time he gets wall banged, I'm like just trolling him. I'm like, Pamba, you gotta stay up, like please stay alive. And I like sigh and I'm like, oh my god, Pamba's first dead again, like the round's over.
That's too funny.
I have one more thing to go over, and after we'll have some questions from Twitter that was asked on DarkZero's Discord or Twitter on DarkZero's Twitter, and then we'll have some live questions from chat from Twitch afterwards. You made a tweet in very early 2021, January 1st, actually, so right after New Year's, I guess. FoxA. You said some of your favorite content creators cheat, and it's obvious, but I don't think we're ready for that conversation just yet. Got a lot of likes.
Yeah.
Even I comment. I said, "Oh no," in that comment.
No, that was an amazing traction tweet, by the way. I didn't know it would do that.
It did numbers.
I didn't specify R6 either. So like people in like other esports, like Valorant, they were like adding some like random Valorant dudes, or like it was pretty good. It's like I think right now, I think a lot of content creators, not that they cheat all the time, but they'll definitely, for like a day or for like a video, for like a couple clips, they'll 100% cheat, get like some crazy triple wall bang, or like, you know, let's say Warzone. I think it's very prominent in the Warzone community. Some like big ass streamer will just like cheat and start snapping through walls, and then like the next day, like they're still nasty, they have amazing aim, they're great at the game, but just to have that little edge that they do something different that other people like can't humanly do, I think like they do it on purpose, and they'll like do it one time, put it in a video, and never do it again. So at least for Siege, like obviously I don't think like people, like a bunch of people cheat like that, but there are a lot of content creators that their accounts get banned, and like they have like 10 accounts, so it's like it doesn't really matter. Or I've seen some content creators where they get banned and they just message like someone and they're like, can you get my account unbanned? They're like, sure, you know.
I mean, it happens. I mean, if let's say I got banned today, and I DM you, be like, yo, I obviously don't cheat. I'm a content
Yeah,
creator.
exactly.
Like, they would unban me without questioning because they're right. Like, why would I cheat? And I probably would have been caught earlier if I had.
Exactly.
But if you're to call little Timmy and you're in the same shoes, you're not gonna get unbanned. And there was that issue in Siege at a time where people are getting manually or automatically banned by the system based on like statistics. My girlfriend Riley got banned because she went from she had like a really bad rank day. She went 0.4 KD, really bad headshot percentage. Then we 5-stacked with her and like Diamond Elo the day after. She dropped over 1 KD every game. She had like a 70% headshot ratio. She got banned on the spot.
She's cheating.
She's cheating. She's too good in too short time. And we had to DM some people and we're like, yo, like, we're not, all the games were on stream, like, we didn't cheat, we promise. And she got unbanned. And obviously that triggered other people to be like, oh, I also got banned. What about me?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're probably cheating. Like what can I say? If you don't play on stream, if you don't make content, if you don't have like legitimacy to your name or anything else, you probably were cheating if you got banned for the most part. But of course, there are some really rare instances where people get falsely banned.
Yeah, what was it? Is it like Macy J? Like he's been
Macy J got
like
banned.
He's been banned like
twice already,
2 times, something like that. And like we all know Macy, like that guy's not cheating. Like so it's just like crazy that like you can just obviously I think manual bans are necessary, but I think like just I don't think he cheats, but there's a bunch of content creators that might. I know like one big thing, there's probably going to be a bunch of EU people like, well, at least like, you know that meme that's on TikTok. I said like that whole thing sparked because I called Spoit a cheater, which went completely out of proportion. I didn't call him a cheater. I said he probably like macroed or something for like a clip to make him look like his recoil make look inhumanly possible, which honestly, he probably didn't. But if he told me or come out one day where he was like, oh yeah, like I cheated for like a clip, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. But my whole thing was like, I said one clip looked suspicious and then it blew completely out of proportion. Like, I don't dislike that guy. I don't really know him like that. But I think like now we have like a good like banter on Twitter. It's pretty funny. Yeah. But I wish the best for him. So I didn't want like EU people like coming after me, like, so just had to clarify that.
No, that's fair. And I mean, I also think some people are good sports about it, and I think Spoit is one of those people. Because like when he played FPL, they were like, "Oh, you're cheating, Spoit." He's like, "Yeah, whatever." And then he gets like 3 kills in a round against pro players, and then like, "Yeah, you are cheating." I say, "Yeah, I'm cheating." So if you're a good sport about it, you gain traction. Like a lot of people think someone like Spoit cheats because he's that good. Yeah. And then Spoit plays into it and is like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good." Then he'll do it again. He'll do it again. He'll do it again. And people are like, "Shit! If you can do it that many times, that accurately." And you haven't been banned yet, and people think you're good, maybe you're just that much better. Yeah. So
Spoit's just got to come to NA at this point.
He's got to come to
Spoit.oxg maybe.
He's called Spoit Fitness right now, actually. So he'd fit right in. You guys go group fitness, don't you guys? Does Lax take you to the gym? Does he force you?
Lax has I think he's made like his own like personal gym. So he does like his own working out and stuff. I mean, it works for him. He doesn't live with us, so he like likes to be able to have, the accessibility at his like fingertips whenever he wants. But we've been going to this gym near our house. I'm not going to like leak the name, but what's it called? Like Dream has been very dedicated on like working out and everything. So I've been going with him, and our coach Hopes is here now, and he's like really big into like fitness, and like he's currently like losing weight to get ready for his wedding. Oh. So we've just been working out like constantly, and it's been pretty good.
Team bonding. Mm-hmm. All right, I think we got some questions. I think there was some on Twitter that was asked, I believe yesterday, the 15th. And I guess we can kind of touch it, but we kind of touched on this earlier, but just to clarify one more time. The Shadow01 asked, for Kyno and FoxA, how has the roster changes helped your respective teams find success this season so far?
You want to go first?
You go first. You got it.
What a nice guy.
I don't want to flame anybody.
Wait, what was the question again?
What was in the person?
What was the question?
Oh, the question. How has the roster changes helped you guys' respective teams?
Oh, the roster changes have helped our teams in the aspects like fundamentally. I feel like we have a lot more vibes on the team, a lot more, I guess I want to say like chemistry in game. Just for like the positivity, for example, Dream and Newer is bringing a lot of positivity, a lot of communication all the time, maybe sometimes too much communication. But in the end, it helps the areas that we were lacking with our prior roster. And then also we finally for once in the last like 3 years have like an actual dedicated support player, which like I was talking to Troy like the other day and he goes, you know, I used to hate OXG and you guys never had a support, but now you guys got Dream and now you guys are actually pretty decent. and now we actually have like, you know, a dedicated first entry that like will just walk in and like shoot. So at least for us, like we kind of picked up the players that fit the perfect spot that we needed. What about you, Kyno?
I feel like XSET was something I wanted for a while now, like teaming with Gomez and Diaz again, and Yog, of course. I love that guy.
What
I feel like that's something.
What about
I
your
wanted.
fifth? You only
Spirits?
What about Spirits?
Nah, I don't like that guy.
No, okay.
I feel like it's something I wanted for so long because I teamed with them in the past. It was T3, but I had so much fun. It was like the best siege I've ever played. It was amazing. It was just like a good experience overall. So I feel like I kind of needed that, but Gomez had some visa issues, so he never had the chance to make the Pro League, and Diaz never really got a shot, like a trial or anything. So as soon as like they asked me about this opportunity, I was like, I can't, like, this is not gonna happen again. Like, you know, like I can't pass out on that. Of course, it was not mid-invite. Okay.
No, it was mid-invite.
I mean, it happened mid-invite. I literally told them.
Kyno literally told me that like 2 months before invite, he said he was in a group chat with Bodega and like Gomez and Diaz, and they were already talking about who they're gonna pick up. And I was in the car with him. He said that a message popped up, a text message popped up from Bodega, and the group chat was like the Brazilian Dream or something like that.
It was like it was called The Plan, and you were staring at my. And
I looked at his phone, and like I don't even remember like seeing anything or reading anything. I was just like, okay. And then apparently he thought I like knew the whole thing.
Because like I told them, they asked me. I told them like, interesting offer, but I'm on a team. I'm gonna play invite in like a month. Yeah. So for now, look for someone else.
So Kyno was scheming during us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Come on, man.
All I'm gonna say is
like, no, because I was in the team.
So all I'm gonna say is we put Kyno on Mav. I asked him a couple times. I'm like, Kyno, do you want me to show you how to Mav 2 hatches? And he kept saying, no, I got it. No. We get into the game. He doesn't Mav 2 hatches, and then instantly leaves the team. And now he's not on Mav anymore. So I know why he didn't want to learn.
Explanation, man. I can Mav 2 hatches. It's just that bank hatch. You map the side hatch,
the red hatch,
and if the red hatch is cated, wow, how like it's so hard to map that hatch if it's cated.
Can you mav?
You can.
Yeah, you can.
You have to start crouch though and like mav the middle, right?
You have to have like the middle, yeah. Okay. But if it's cated, it's really hard. So I couldn't open the red hatch, and yeah, it was that.
I'll have a Mav tutorial video coming out soon. I'll link it to you.
I can open 2 hatches, but not the red hatch.
They also buffed Mav because they gave him that extra canister. Yeah. But that might have been the same case with you guys, but it's easier now than before.
Yeah. Yes. It was actually a hard skill to get 2 hatches.
It was really hard.
Now it's like it's given.
They also changed how it works because back in the day, I think you had to do like a certain version of like the lines for the hatch to break, but now it's damage oriented. So like the hatch has health, the torch does damage, and eventually you'll break the hatch. There's still like more efficient ways of doing it, I guess, like fuel wise, but it's a lot easier nowadays. So you should be good, Kyno. Yeah, I saw you highlighted it. Pop Not Soda from Twitch chat. How would 2018 G2 do against current Pro League level teams? It's a question that I think Twitch loves. I always get asked.
I think that's probably a question for you and Fox because I never played against old G2.
2018, like I mean, you guys seemed unstoppable. Like every decision you guys made, every shot you guys landed, like even stuff that didn't even make sense, like Eunice, like flanking with Cav or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that clip.
It all worked. But now, I don't know. I don't know how you guys would do. I think you guys would still be strong. I think I would compare you guys to maybe like Empire or like X-Empire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like you guys would be in the same realm as them where you're always getting top 4 and then it really depends from there on the day.
I would say, I definitely wouldn't say that we'd be like stomping people by any means. I also think the big question is like, okay, are we assuming that we've played with the same roster since 2018? Because then we're also like burned out and tired of each other, right? There's a lot of variance here. I think we'd be a top 4 team domestically. Maybe some seasons we wouldn't make top 4. And then we'll probably like get pretty average finishes across the board because of multiple reasons, whether it's player skill, burnout, or just the fact that if you don't have the option to change players, like you're gonna hit a wall at some point, right?
True.
Cowjick said Mav is hard. Turtle on Twitter said, what critical goal do you have? And if you don't have one at the moment, which one have you had in the past? Critical goal.
That's a deep question.
That's a very deep question.
You want to hit that?
Most people invite, you know, like I want to invite.
Yeah, mine's gonna be super boring. I mean, my like critical goal, I guess, would be like just to win SI.
Yeah,
and I think that's a lot of players' like dreams. I think.
What about like
even winning a major life goal?
Yeah, like outside of the game.
Get a girl.
Get enough. Get a girl. Get enough money where I don't have to go back to college before I retire. Okay. I think that's my life goal. I don't want to go to college unless I need to.
Kyno? In-game goal, life goal?
In-game goal, team with Bamba.
Okay.
Not happening, buddy.
Okay. I'm taking him from
this guy's scheming all
one day.
This guy's planning on a team already.
We know why he didn't talk about the 5th now. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
What about life goal?
Life goal. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't think like
learn how to cook. I don't know, like
I don't think nutrition. I'm just living in the moment now.
Yeah, more
living in the moment.
Yeah, I'm just having fun.
Have fun.
I'll think about the future later.
All right.
Yeah. If I go back to college, whatever I do later.
You don't gotta go back to college.
What?
You don't gotta go back to college.
I mean, you never know.
You might have to.
All right.
Whatever happens. You know, like
you could live in your parents' yacht.
Yeah.
live on your parents' yacht.
Brazilian billionaires.
I guess I would say like in-game goal, yeah, obviously win invite. I think everyone wants that. I would honestly, at least like personal goal, I would love to like grow my own brand to the point where I don't have to, you know, go do something that's outside of esports. You know, I want to have a gun skin in the game. Not gun charm. I mean, obviously a charm would be sick. Hopefully I get one day. Please.
Yeah, Ubisoft Day.
But like a gun skin, like I want to be like one of the like, I don't know, first pros that like gets like a gun skin. So I feel like that'd be sick.
That would be sick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think if you scroll up, Grant, a little bit, I saw Caliber Jacob asked a question that I liked.
Caliber Jacob.
Yeah, he said, in your view, is the fact that we don't have another dynasty team that constantly does well every tournament a good thing, or is that a bad thing?
I think
that we don't have it.
I think it's a great thing to be able to see like the different type of competition. I don't think it's because there's no one team that's like that good. I feel like if you look at like CS, you know, there's always been kind of like dynasties like Fnatic, Astralis, Liquid,
NIP,
NIP. And I feel like, but in between that, you know, a lot of different teams have their moments. So I feel like having a dynasty kind of builds storylines for the underdog teams. But I thoroughly enjoy watching like the events a lot more now after I get eliminated, because it's almost like a lot more teams have a chance. You're not looking at it and you're like, okay, it's like David versus Goliath. It's like everyone has a chance. Who's going to be the best team that shows up on these days? So I feel like it's better watching it now, you know, instead of just one big team.
I also think it's more interesting. I think right now it's, since the skill gap is so tight, I think it's whatever team is best in like certain metas, like kind of controls that season. And then like you have the really good teams that are just consistent in every meta, you know?
Yeah.
What's the most consistent team right now?
Right now?
What's the most consistent team?
I mean,
like Liquid?
Damn.
Liquid is probably somewhere.
I think BDS before SI.
Yeah, before SI.
Before SI.
Even now in EUL, they're not looking like crazy good.
TSM is really consistent too.
TSM. I mean,
no
matter how much you hate BDS, they are consistent. They get
man, they're so mid, bro. They're so mid.
Like they're probably the best team in the world to have never won an actual tournament, because they've never won a single tournament before. Like,
yeah, because they're not good.
Even Liquid has won international.
They're definitely good.
Nah,
I don't think they're like
Why do you hate BDS?
crazy. Like
I don't think. I think Brid is probably the best support player in the world, and Shaiko has good aim, but I don't think he's a smart player. So I think that team kind of like. Also, I just don't like the way they handled themselves last event.
No,
they trolled themselves and then kind of made it seem like it was everyone else's fault. And then
we still don't know what happened.
Well,
we know what happened.
In turn, I think all the players know what happened, but we're not allowed to go public with it.
Okay, so I would say like as far as I know, the casters don't know what happened yet. No, at least
should we leak it right now?
Should we leak it right now?
Nice. Imagine.
But
I'm surprised why it hasn't
it
hasn't came out yet, because the BDS players were also saying that it wasn't clear to them too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion.
But
One day we'll write a book when the game is over. We'll get out all the drama from back in the day.
Like the one thing that I use as like a perfect parallel was we went to the Sweden major. I got COVID. I couldn't go. Yeah. The whole time, everybody's grilling OXG, like regardless of me not being there. Oh, OXG's trash. Why are these guys here? NA sucks in it, whatever. Those guys kind of shoot themselves in the foot and then go on Twitter. At least Ren Shear goes on Twitter, calls the teams that they're playing dog shit, wouldn't have a chance if they actually played with their prior roster. Even if they did, like that's such a L mindset to have. And then like, I don't know. They just like assumed like wasn't their problem. They didn't really like try either with their coach, which it's hard to try with a coach. But
yeah, I
just felt like the two situations, the two parallels. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't like them for that reason.
I definitely lost quite a bit of respect for those guys after that, after the way they handled themselves that event. But
I think that's fair. I think it showed. I do agree, but I think it was a very big frustration from them, being as that was BDS's invite to win. If anything, I think that was like if there was one team we would predict to win that international tournament, it was probably BDS. And then they get the unfortunate, like, the COVID case that you guys had, like one of those like one-off situations.
I feel like that's every event though. Every event they're like BDS is gonna win.
Yeah,
and they're
we've
just
been
like
saying that for 2 years since C2 stepped down, because like they've been the kings of Europe and they have been looking like the best roster on paper. And then they just always fall short.
I feel like strategically they're not the best roster on paper, but like I think because of their individual skill, it gives them a leg up in a lot of situations that they shouldn't win.
Well,
yeah.
Well, certainly. I mean, it's question of FoxA, actually. I see it right at the end, at the top. Scroll a little bit. You got it? One second, we got Grant handling questions. Question for FoxA. You talked on stream before about how you can drastically improve Siege's Pro League's marketing if you were involved. What do you think are the best ways to raise Siege's viewership up to 50k plus? And why do you think EUL gets a bit more viewership?
This is a really great question. So I've actually become friends with some of the maybe not the marketing team, but the people who do like the NAL like videos and the production. And I've talked to them about it. I've given them my insight. I think like the biggest thing is we're all in Vegas. I think stuff like this podcast, not just this, but we shoot content before the season starts and then that's it. What if there was way more content in between the weeks? We're all in Vegas scrimming. Most teams have a day off, maybe 2 days off. There's a lot more videos and content ideas that you can do throughout the day. Obviously, it costs money. Obviously, it costs like willpower. But if you have like Ubisoft as like the league or right the NAL, and you're telling these pros like, hey, what if we just come over real quick, do with a camera, like we just like chop it up, like something about what you guys thought about the game, what you thought, like what you guys are doing, just default stuff that like people like to see. I think one thing that definitely needs to be stepped up is the announcement dates. I think, for example, I'm happy the next major was announced now instead of like later on. So hopefully that starts keeping going. But like the NAL, I think was only announced like a couple days before it actually like we were supposed to end up playing.
Yeah.
So like obviously more announcements would be a lot better. I think they're definitely taking a lot of the stuff that I've told them, other pros have told them, and make it better. EUL gets more viewership because more people are awake. It's as simple as that. Is the NA, most people are asleep when NA is playing. So it's harder for different regions, people from different regions to be able to watch at the same times. But EU, a majority of the world is up at that time. So, I got a lot of ideas. I just can't give them out for free too. So yeah.
He wants to get paid for this insight.
I got to get in contact with UB and I'll hook them up.
Damn. It's a long boy I see here. I saw one earlier that was like, who do you think are the contenders and who are the pretenders for like NAL, I guess? Like, who's the real top dogs and who's the, the fake top dogs? I was looking at
Do you have a question?
My bad.
Do you have a question?
My bad.
You answer the question.
I think it's pretty, just for my sake, I don't think there's like a clear XSET shouldn't be top. I think if anything, to me, Astralis was the big surprise factor, but they've also played really well to be there.
Yeah.
So I just want to say from my end, I don't think there's like any pretenders right now. The bottom team's the bottom, and the top teams are basically on top. The way I see it.
I think Astralis, it's not like a honeymoon phase for them. I actually think they will be fairly consistent over this year. I think call out is like, I think call out is exactly what they needed personally.
Yeah. Force too. Force has been playing amazing. I think that team's been trying. And that's something that I don't think I've said about the other rosters. They have been trying, like they're scrimming, actually trying to like come up with strats. They told me like the way that they did a lot of their work for the new maps is each one of them made a strat for each site to kind of get an understanding of everybody's like kind of idea of how to make these maps work. Because like, you know, I don't think they weren't playing Pro League when old Theme Park was out, when old Skyscraper was out, when old Border was out. So like, you know, just the creativity that they have on that team now, I think is like such a positive thing. Pretenders, I mean, yeah, I guess it's too hard to say because a lot of teams are doing good and the teams that you wouldn't think would do bad are doing bad. So,
yep. All right. I think we'll snip a couple of questions more before we wrap up. I saw one there. I see one from that we had on Twitter that is on the left screen for you guys here in the house. Number 6 from Mr. Maxafranti, I think. MC Maxafranti. Knowing what you know now, if you had to go back and regain all the skills to be in Pro League or get into Pro League, what would you prioritize and what would your 5 to 6 hour daily routine look like? So say you know what you know, but you're like a very average Siege player. How would we can also like rephrase this? How would you coach or tell someone to go about becoming into pro play if you're like average now? What are the things to prioritize on?
I think the biggest thing in game in Siege is your positioning.
Positioning?
I think positioning and your like in game, like your fight IQ, pretty much. For example, like Paulo, one of the most consistent players in the world, he does some nasty stuff, but like when you think of like who's got the nastiest aim, you're like, oh, Nesk, oh, Shaiko, you know what I'm saying? So with Paula, he's so consistent to the point where he carries his team because if you watch him play, his positioning is perfect. Any situation based off the calls of who's where, who's what, he has great shot, great reaction time, but he puts himself in the best position to always have like that one-on-one engagement. So I feel like knowing the angles, knowing the pixels, knowing like the body language of the other player, is he going to swing? Is he going to hold a pixel? Is he going to go prone? Like stuff like that is, I feel like, unteachable. Like you have to learn with time. And that's one of the biggest things that like makes like great players great, in my opinion. And then outside of the game, I think the biggest thing is like sleep. Like, yeah, people like when I was younger, you get like 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, you show up, like doesn't matter. But like as you get older, even when you're younger, you don't realize how important your sleep and getting good sleep will impact your like, you know, cognitive thinking and the way you play.
I think game sense for me, like just going with Fox says, like game sense, positioning. I think it all kind of goes like 1 and 1. Like aim can only get you so far in this game. It's a strategy game. I personally think aiming in Siege is fairly easy compared to like CS, Valorant, like that. Like when you play CS and Val, you have to like try hard to like aim all like every gunfight.
Yes.
In Siege, you can kind of get a little lazy and like focus more on other things because you kind of have to. But I mean, I think game sense and positioning is definitely
big replacement. I saw a tweet where it was, I forget who tweeted it, but it was saying that Siege isn't hard to be great at, but it's hard to understand how not to die all the time.
Yeah,
like it's hard not dying. It's not hard to like
consistency is super
crazy. Yeah,
so many factors.
This might not be the smartest answer, but I think I'd focus on mechanics. Like, if I had to go back and like learn like a skill, I would probably focus on aim, crosshair placement, movement, and get nasty at the game, like ranked. And I don't know, whenever you think about like tryouts, oh, who am I going to try out? Yours.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
We don't know if that guy's like smart or not. That guy's just crazy.
But
his mechanics are insane.
I would say
I feel like you get shot like tryouts and like opportunities.
That's a good answer from your POV, because I feel like me and Paul have been in the scene for a while, and like aim can only get you so far once you're in there. But if you're an up and coming player, you're correct. Like you know, you're not going to get picked up for being like a smart player, rarely. But if you have insane mechanical aim, you'll get a lot more eyes on you.
I feel like you'll learn the game with time.
I mean, I
get
think,
smarter.
for example, I think Newers is actually like probably learning like, wow, this is like getting like better at like positioning, game sense over time will make him better. Like, I think we'll see the next year like how much he will improve because like he has people like Fox, Lax, Vert, like teach him that kind of thing.
I think you can say the same thing about me.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
You don't think I learned?
Nah.
Yeah.
You're still gonna, if we play Oregon, you're still gonna do the same big window peek with smoke SMG 11.
I'll kill you all the time.
Nah. But yeah, Newers is a pretty smart player, and he is gonna learn. He has that mindset to want to like learn and get better, which a lot of players having a positive mental attitude for new players. There's so many T2, T3 players that have the biggest ego and they're horseshit. Simple as that. They'll play FPL, they'll get like peaked, and then they're like, bro, what is this guy doing? Like, like you got to be humble. You got to like understand like how to take criticism and improve. So not many people have that.
I like the answer, Kyno, because I was gonna say like I personally think comms and like strategical elements of Siege are like super good for teams to have, but ain't no one's gonna pick you up on a team because they think you have a big brain. Like this is not gonna happen as often, and who would know if you can't shoot for shit? You know, like let's say Supr was some random tier 3 IGL, who would pick up Supr in Pro League? Probably nobody, right? But then you have like people. Sorry,
I'd pick him up.
You'd pick him up.
He's
Fox got him in the pocket.
You ever see like Megamind?
I've seen Megamind.
He's got like the cranium.
Yeah, he does. It's just like I feel like people would be like let's say you say to a roster, yo, there's this guy super in like CCS. He's got really good strats apparently, but he can't shoot straight. Would you guys like? Can we pick him up? Do you think your teammates would be like, yeah, dude, let's try it? Fuck no.
You know what's funny is like that's what we did with Bio. We were like, listen, like out of all the people we could get, this guy probably doesn't have like the best aim, but we don't need him for that. We just need to pick him up to like IGL and lead. And then when we scrim with him, we scrimmed against like SSG, and he dropped like back-to-back aces in like tryouts. So we're like, all right, we gotta get this guy. He's nasty. But our main thing was, like we don't care if like you get kills, just like IGL. The same with Kyno. We picked up Kyno. Kyno got 7 kills in like 3 tryouts. 7 kills in 3
maps.
tryouts.
I got 7 maps. Which like
so like he did bad, but his comms were so good, and we would have had him on that support role. So to us, we didn't need him to kill. We just needed him to like be communicative and like have a brain, when to plant, when to like walk around and stuff like that. So yeah, we kind of had that, but obviously, some players end up going better than others.
When it comes to international LAN events, what is the most important preparation you guys make as a team to adapt to the other regions' different playstyles? As by Captain Sin. You guys were doing a lot of prep work.
Yeah. I don't know, like playing with Troy kind of like opened my eyes to like how to treat like different teams, especially at SI. I think the big thing he taught me was like you change your play style and you have to play like reactive on defense to other teams, because like at SI, like you play against teams like Elevate, they actually like don't move on attack, and then you play like teams like Furia where you have Fancy holding like W key the whole round.
Yeah, shift and W.
And you just kind of have to play reactive on defense and kind of change how you play on defense every matchup. And then on attack, you kind of just like play your game and like occasionally you switch things up. But like I think defense is a big part, is like you kind of have to react to the other teams differently.
Yeah. I personally think like regional teams or like other regions teams, I think it's actually a lot easier to understand them strategically. So when you're attacking, I feel like it's very easy. Their strats aren't as in depth as some of the NA teams, like Parabellum. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like against them, you actually have to try to like think about what they're doing, and you can break it apart. But with other teams, like when we played Damwon or when we played like MIBR, a lot of their stuff is very straightforward and basic, but the way they play around it is the hard part. They'll do like, so much team chemistry play, double peeking you, triple peeking you, all of them flying at you, different spot, C4, and then they swing through the C4. You know what I'm saying? They do so much team play, and it's less about the strategy for them. So that's the difference, is like you can counter them really easy strategically, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're going to counter them. They're going to be still fighting you. They don't like back up. They're not playing off a utility that much as like NA teams. Like if you look at a map like Villa, NA teams, they're like, oh, we'll fall back. We'll play the smokes. We'll play C4s and AV. You play against Damwon, those guys are fighting to die and win in Master before you even get in the building. So it's like, I guess it's just a difference in that regard. You just got to be prepared to fight.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that, because
no,
I played two invites, and I mean the major didn't really count.
And you got smoked, right?
Yeah.
So maybe better prep work next time.
Yeah.
Please play more XTs. This was there with the roster, It's Fox's fault, probably.
I feel like Paul had a great take on this.
Yeah.
With like reactive.
Good take, Paul.
Thank you.
True.
I'll try help, man.
A simple one. Do you believe you get older? Oh, sorry. Do you believe the older you get, the worse you get at the game?
No. I think the older you get, the more your priorities change.
Yeah.
And so as you get older, you have other stuff in your life that you want to focus on or want to do or want to accomplish. So because of that, you just like start playing less. And I think that's the majority. You just don't care as much. But if you still have that grind, that will to play, then no, I don't think age will affect it.
I mean, look at Nesk. How old is he? He's like
29.
He's like 30. He has a kid. He's married. And he's still like one of the best players.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He makes that sacrifice. He makes that like decision. Like, this is my job. I'm really good at it. And it's like, if you have that grind to do it, which he clearly has that grind to do it, you can make it possible. You can make it work.
He has the dad buff.
Yeah,
I might need to get that soon.
You might.
I need to get more on the line. Start playing for my kid.
There you go. You got that. You got to get the e-girl buff and the baby buff.
Exactly.
The e-baby.
Dude.
I have 2 more questions, and both of them I have ready. Somebody in Twitch chat asked earlier, I didn't see the name. If you could change one thing about Siege right now, and it's not LMG, so that generic answer, what would you guys change to make the game better? And I think the question was more like Pro League related, if anything. Like meta-wise or
I think
game changes, that is.
Make the game quicker, rounds quicker, reinforcements, prep phase.
Castle barricades, general stuff in prep phase. Faster.
Yeah, just make the game faster, because
good answer. The prep phase stuff, yeah.
The Tiger repick already makes the game faster, but you still get that 45-second downtime regardless, because prep phase takes prep phase time.
I would say, yeah, reinforcing, I remember they made reinforcing shorter, but I don't know how shortening reinforcing would work. Imagine you're in a 1v1 fight and the dude taps the wall and it gets hard.
Only for prep phase, right?
Yeah, what if for prep phase only?
Oh, only for prep phase?
Yeah. Because in Operation Outbreak, you had really fast orb reinforcements because it was against AI, it was fine. But if you took that speed into just prep phase, you sped up the placement of mute jammers, ADSs, castle barricades, just for prep phase, if that's possible. I'm not sure if that is possible. Then you could shave off 10-15 seconds of prep time each, every round, basically. So instead of 45, we're talking 25-30 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Any way to do that would be good. But the way I see it is imagine for operators, let's say Malusi, on a big map, something like Bank, and imagine you're doing a roam. Malusi has to put a Malusi on each side of the map. And you only get 25 seconds. No matter how fast it is, you still got to run all the way.
There is a loss.
So
the travel, yeah.
It wouldn't be bad. Obviously, any way to make the prep phase faster and actually get into the game, I'd agree with. So just about how they tweak it properly.
I have an idea. I fully don't agree with it. I just want to see everyone's opinion on it. But what if you could preset, you have 45 seconds in a custom game to set up the site or however long prep phase lasts, and then you save it, and then you can select it in game.
It's a preset reinforcements and stuff.
I think that's too much.
I agree. I don't fully agree with it, but it's I don't know.
Yeah, no, that would be hard to do because imagine you want to adapt a strategy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you want to adapt, how would you do that before? You'd have to set it up before the game to predict what they're gonna do to a counter. I feel like it would be too hard to do. Adapting in game would be difficult.
No, it would definitely be and on LAN you would have to because you're on LAN SSDs, you have to redo all your strats.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be too hard.
Final question, and this is not as we'll see. What gives you the motivation to keep playing Siege competitively and not get burned out from ever playing Siege? And this is interesting because we have boomer, mid, young. So maybe it's a different approach.
It's probably mid.
Because there's no way Kyno's gonna be I'm kind of burned out, guys. OXG was too much.
No, Kyno is burnt out. Yeah. We told him he joined our team. He was scrimming doubles every day and then streaming 6 hours till 4 a.m. And I'm like, dude, sometimes after a double, you want to take a break. He's like, no, I'll never get burnt out. I'm always going to play. And then literally a week later, didn't play right. He's on Valor and he's like, dude, I don't want to play Siege.
So okay, then I'll take it back.
Yeah.
Any good advice for that? How do you avoid it? Is it managing the hours? Is it playing a different game? Is it going outside, touching grass?
Yeah, definitely all that.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know how I feel about playing other games. Like, because in my case, right before like invite or like stage 2 or something like that, I was playing Valorant every day, like scrimming and then hopping on Val like right away, playing Val every day, and that made like my aim and like I was doing pretty bad in Siege, like performance wise, and I wasn't like I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I can understand that. There was this quote that Nothing, the CS player from C9, said. He said, like, if you're a pro in a game, you can't play any other games because it literally will make you build habits in that game that won't like correlate to, you know, CS. But it's the same thing for us. I think obviously playing a game like Valorant helps your aim a lot, but then yeah, the mindset that you start thinking in Valorant doesn't really work for Siege.
Yeah,
but
playing other games help.
Yeah,
you should definitely do it.
But maining other games, like
other games, that's
so here's the trick, guys. I'll tell you the secret that I learned the 7 years. The trick is to play other games, but not FPS games, because then you won't build the FPS habits.
That's fair.
I played Valheim a shit ton when it came out, and it was like the most therapeutic. Like you have a bad scrim, team argument, you know, lives kind of sucks. You boot up Valheim, you know, the music starts playing, the world opens up, you have your little cabin in the woods. You're chilling, mining some materials, like Minecraft style, you know? That was super therapeutic.
Yeah.
So for me, like playing non-FPS games, that was my trick. But I do agree, like FPS games, you can build bad, you know, unrelated habits.
I'm on a Minecraft binge right now.
There it is.
So I've been enjoying
you
that.
Guys, what place are you again? Is first place in the
Get me in the world, man. I wanna.
I can let you in. It's like a R6. It's like a R6 thing. So I can probably get you in. But yeah. I was just going to say, sorry, you want to go?
No, you got it.
I was going to say that one thing that just keeps me playing is honestly the viewers. Like, obviously, like, I want to win, and like that's a big thing. The money's nice. But I feel like the best thing is to be able to kind of play for the people that like support OXG or like support me in general. Like, I love winning and then being able to like feel proud that I won for like the people that support us. And I'm so excited for this next major. I hope we make it. Like, the crowd is going to be crazy. Seeing everybody's going to be crazy. So I feel like that's like a very big like pushing driving factor for me.
Before we get to Paul's answer, would you guys go to the major if you didn't qualify just because there's a crowd in the land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be like so fun that you'd want to go no matter what.
Okay. And Paul, what about your thing? How do you avoid burnout from Siege?
Well, I agree. Like, playing other games, especially with yours, is like try to avoid FPS games because I notice when I play other FPS games, I build like bad habits and like it like ruins my focus a little bit on Siege. But I do think you can also play Siege solely, but like I think you should do something like outside. Like you should either like go hang out with friends, go to the gym. Like, you got to get your mind off of, like, you got to have a mental reset like every day, I think, because it's like you're just gonna get stressed out. And I don't know, you definitely get burnt out over time.
Absolutely. Yep. Especially like for like events and just playing like in high intense situations, people don't understand how important socializing is. Like, you go outside, you go to like, you know, another team's house, you hang out with friends, go to the gym, talk to some people. You're getting used to that sense of communicating with people in uncomfortable situations. You know, for people that have difficulties, like, you know, obviously like, if you're on a team with other social people, it helps. But when you go to a LAN, let's say you have a team of like 5 people that don't necessarily like feel comfortable around people, and you're going to have like like 3,000 people looking at you playing, and you're just sitting there like, holy shit. Like, you know, it's shattering for someone to be able to experience that. So you're right. Like, going out, just enjoying people, company, having that socialization. It's good.
It's good. Cool. Anything you guys want to touch upon? Any questions you have for your own topics you want to bring forward, or thank the fans, as you said? Anything?
Damn, everyone's.
Guys, thank you guys for supporting OXG so far. We've been killing it. We're gonna kill the mates. We're gonna qualify. We're gonna do good.
Yeah, shout out to all the OXG fans.
I think XSET's getting first place this stage.
Yeah, you think you guys are gonna get above OXG?
We should clip that, and then if he doesn't finish we'll post it out.
Yeah, I'm winning stage 1 and the major.
Okay. No, dead ass. Like, we're gonna play them, and like win or lose, like I'm gonna make Kyno have the worst game of his life. I know what he does. Like I'm not doing a strat. I'm literally like picking like a Maru or something ridiculous and rushing his one spot and just
literally just do VOD review on like Kyno's spot and like just have newers nade it.
We're gonna 5-man counter Kyno.
Yeah,
that's how you win.
It doesn't even matter. The rest of the team does. Just kill Kyno.
Exactly.
Nobody knows what I'm doing because I don't even know what I'm doing.
Oh, it's that quote. Yep. Okay. OXG on top. And then hopefully DC, no more OT games. Clean wins or clean losses. Not that stuff in the middle.
I'm fine with OT as long as we get top 4.
Okay. You had 2 so far.
A win's a win, you know?
A win's a win.
A win is a win.
As long as you don't get, like, what was it? Was it the last stage where you guys had like 3 wins, but OT wins?
It was ridiculous. Last stage, the last match, we literally like, I'm pretty sure if the game before like something happened, but like we literally would have played relegations or went to LAN. Yeah. Like there's just like so much on the match.
That's crazy.
It's like
relegations.
Playing for your careers.
Yeah.
That's 10th or that was 9th and 4th. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. That was the situation. You guys were, it was a tough one.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like our record was crazy. Like we
you had like 4 OT wins or something like that.
We had 4 OT wins, but like we beat everyone that stage pretty much. Yeah. Well, we lost. I don't remember who we lost to, but we had a pretty good record. At least a top 4 record.
Yep. I guess that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching the 3rd episode. Once again, it was Mr. Paul, Mr. Spit King, FoxA, and the Brazilian of Kyno. Thank you guys for coming. Good luck in your games. I'll be casting them. You guys will be playing them. And every single one of you guys might be going to the major or might not be going to the major. So there's a lot on the line. Make sure to tune in at the NAL Pro League stream because we got to play for all the 4 last remaining spots. See you guys next time in 2 weeks' time. Take care.